And we're live. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 6 of Between Two Keepstars. So, again, sorry we haven't been on for a while. The last actual time we went live on Twitch was 2 weeks ago. Just a little update on that. Due to some real life stuff, I have decided to actually to space out episodes a little bit more. I've just been busy with a bunch of real life stuff, work, all that stuff. And yeah, another thing you'll notice is the format is a little bit different. That is for a reason. So one of the biggest things with the show so far has been actually trying to get some guests, and that has been proven sometimes fruitful, sometimes not. And so what I've decided to do is to change up the show format a little bit. That's more, I guess, allows me to do solo shows a little bit easier, because while I do have a bunch of topics to cover, especially this week, because there's definitely been some stuff happening in EVE Online. For those of you who don't know and haven't been following the war, there have been so far 3 Keepstar attempts, or 3 attempts to drop a Keepstar in Goon's home, which ended kind of interestingly. Spoiler alert, all 3 Keepstars died. However, they did not die without a fight. I think looking at the most recent battle reports, it's up to maybe 3 trillion-isk lost by the Imperium to kill these 3 Keepstars. But anyway, we'll go into that more later on in the episode. So I think that about covers it for updates, the new format. Oh, well, speaking of the new format also allows me to have a window that has the internet on it, so I can look at these battle reports and actually show them to you guys. Yes, it's a little bit less conducive of the podcast format, because people will actually need to see what I'm looking at to get what I'm talking about, but it helps me. It helps me talk about these things a little bit easier. So that's why that's like that. So to start things off, let's actually check r/Eve, because there's probably something to say. So the last Keepstar fight was actually just today, just this morning. It took place in 319, I believe. Let me actually check the battle report here real quick. Battle report. Yes, so 319. So that battle report was that happened today. Actually, just happened today. I didn't personally participate in it because I got up. Well, I didn't participate in the sense. So what had happened was, I woke up and it was a little bit tired, decided to get on EVE Online to work on my standings, and all of a sudden I see that there are people in my Discord chat. Well, in my Corp Discord. I was like, alright, well let's see what's going up with them. And they informed me, hey, there's a fight going on. I checked my Discord pings, and lo and behold, the PAPI side dropped another Keepstar. So, I was like, alright, well, let's get in on this. Let's see what's going on. I get into chat. They're calling for caps and shit. So, I get in my cap, log in, and I'm thinking to myself, hey, listen, maybe today is going to be the day that I get to jump in my dread. For some context, the dread I fly is a revelation. My dread is bomb fit. However, Goons didn't actually end, which my dread would have been dropped if, Goons had dropped their supers and stuff. Well, Goons didn't. They were dropping battleships. So I ended up just sitting in station for roughly many, many hours. Thankfully, I had an alt, so I was still running and doing missions and chilling with my bros. But yeah, so that was my role in the fight. Still got my honks. I actually think I got double honked, which, for those of you who don't know what a honk is, that's basically just a fancy term for participation. So I got 2 of those. And this battle report isn't actually loading with this browser source. So let me go ahead and fix that real quick. Okay. I'm gonna see if hopefully I can switch it to Chrome. Alright. Oh, I gotta love it when things just don't work. That's the greatest part of these shows. Alright, properties. That is the wrong properties. Browser. Oh, it's a window. Duh. Alright. Go to properties. Capture specific window. That is not the one. Where's the window? Wait, browser window. Properties. There you go. Okay. So it's not. Where is this? Why does it want to access Chrome? It's not the right one. Oh, here it is. Okay. Figured it out, guys. Done. Okay. So let's try and see if I can get this to work again. Okay. See? Is it gonna work? Is it gonna work this time? Hell yeah. Okay. Note to self: do not use Edge, because Edge apparently does not like these battle reports. All right. So this was the fight that happened today. Looking to the fight, it apparently, I don't think it was an 18-hour fight. I think that was actually just a mishap on the part of the software. Anyway, the fight was not 18 hours. So let's see here. On Team A, which was, you know, the good guys, PAPI, there was roughly 3,000 players, and on the other team, I don't want to say bad guys because people get mad when I say bad guys. You know, I guess people hate the truth. But anyway, roughly 2,100 pilots involved. So yeah, they were outnumbered, which we kind of know is going to happen. Let's see here. Total ships lost. Over 3,000 kill mails. Okay, that's... How much do you want to bet most of those are goons? Or, sorry, Imperium. Actually, we can look. Yep, 3,200 ships. Holy crap. That is... So, keep in mind, 3,200 ships to kill a Keepstar. Now, granted, the PAPI side lost 460 ships, but 460 is a whole hell of a lot smaller than 3,200. Like, I'm not saying, like, I know goons have all this money, but 3,200 is still a lot. And as you'll see later in the episode, this didn't just happen one time. Like, this, over the past battles, especially the battles to put down Keepstars and Delve, like, goons have lost a very, very large number of ships. Anyway, efficiency 8.7. You see, I don't really understand what efficiency is. Like, I guess it's just like how many ships did you kill, or how much did you kill. Actually, that would make sense if it was. Yeah, okay. So it's probably has to do with ISK loss. It's what would make sense. So total ISK loss. Now this is the really big, and this is the pretty big number. 741 bill. Wow. Okay, that is that's quite a bit. I personally don't think it's worth it, especially because of Keepstar. Maybe 160 bill plus the core, which a lot of people kept saying like, oh, well, what about the core? Well, this Keepstar died before they could put the core in, so you really can't figure that in. So, okay, they lost 160 bill. So PAPI lost a 160 bill Keepstar plus 70 bill. That means they lost need to do quick math here. 230 bill, roughly 230 bill, which, I mean, that's bad, but that's still way less than 741. So yeah, let's actually see. Okay, this battle report's actually wrong because it put Requiem Eternal. How wrong is this? Okay. Yeah, some of that. Okay, Victus shouldn't be. Does that? Okay, so that kind of changes it a little bit, but not by much. See that? Okay, that's the thing with these battle reports. Like, they don't really get the sides 100% right, so you gotta be a little careful about that. So I'm just gonna go. Okay. All right, so let's see what was used. So okay, yeah, no surprise. Ton of supers on the PAPI side. Looks like mainly Nixes. Oh, this is my computer might. Come on. Come on. But yeah, no. So one of the things we've seen with these Keepstar defenses, especially the past 3 times, was that PAPI has been very much been using quite a few supers, a lot of mainly to use their fighters to destroy the battleships coming in and the dreads warping on grid. So we've definitely seen a lot of carriers. Personally, I mean, while yes, that does make sense in my mind, it doesn't really bode well for tie-dye because I think it was in the second FWST fight, I jumped in as a carrier and my stuff just didn't work. Like I would launch my fighters, send them, tell them to go kill stuff, and they just wouldn't respond. Like it took me 10 minutes to activate my NSA. And it got to the point towards the end of the fight when we were jumping out where I really had to white knuckle quite a bit because, yeah, my modules weren't responding and I wasn't at jump cap. So I was very quickly approaching a situation where when the time was called to jump out, I wouldn't be at jump cap, which I had literally just bought this carrier. Like, so during the second FWST fight, I was sitting in a dread. Much like I was on the SV, I forget, it was a gate fight, but I was sat in a dread doing pretty much nothing. If I had been in a long range dread, I probably would have done something, but I wasn't. So yeah, and someone just jumped into public chat, but then they left. Let me see if I can drag them. Okay. But yeah, a lot of stuff. It was definitely. Where was I going with that? Oh, yeah, the fight. So definitely, PAPI side's definitely been using supers pretty effectively, even though like they wouldn't be my they wouldn't be my personal choice. But to be honest, actually, would they be my personal choice? Okay, no, that was the wrong thing to say. They don't bode well for tie-dye, but they are the best choice to take out a lot of these sub-capitals and capitals that are attacking the Keepstar, because we've seen pretty much all 3 fights the exact same tactics from the Imperium to kill these Keepstars. While they are the exact same tactics, they did successfully kill the Keepstars. However, they lost a ton of shit doing it. And you'll see in the next 2 battle reports how much they actually lost. But besides that, I'm actually going to take a break from battle reports and actually look at what Reddit has to say about that, because we all love checking Reddit to see what Reddit has to say. And what's going on? Okay. Breaking update. Okay, this is a good meme. Third Keepstar dead. Okay, so pretty much the same stuff. Who do you think would win? Yeah. Okay, so Not a lot here. Not a lot of very good memes. Ooh, what's this? Good guy director bot. I approve of that. Alright, so that's Reddit. Let's actually... There was someone else in here that wanted to come in. Let me just quickly post in Discord. But yeah, guys, if you want to join the show, just hop into the public channel and I'll drag you down. That's usually how these things work. If you don't see me up there, well, yeah. I actually should probably set that up. Actually, let's look at the... Once I post... That's here... Just... Sorry about that. Sorry about that typing, guys. But yeah, so that was today's battle. Let's actually take a look at the past two battles, because with this, I think the total comes out to be roughly I want to say 3.1 trill fed? Yeah, 3.1, which, to put that into perspective, the entirety of the Fountain campaign killed roughly 4.2. So in about a week of fighting, the Imperium has lost a third of what they did in Fountain. But unlike Fountain, Fountain, okay, they abandoned those citadels, and they essentially weren't going to get those back. Like, they didn't have to replace them. Whereas these ships that they lost, in order to put them back on field, like, they pretty much need to replace them. This isn't one of those things where it's just like, all right, well, we already lost the ISK. There's nothing we can do. Like, okay. How do I put this into perspective? The citadels that they lost in Fountain, they don't need to replace. Like, those are dead. Okay, they can pretty much write those off. These ships is a little bit different because they're going to get SRP'd, and then they're going to have to pay for them, essentially. So, when you think about it, these losses are a little bit more meaningful than the Fountain. And Goons will immediately say, oh, well, we've made, you really think, trill here, 700 billion here, you really think that bugs us? Well, okay, once in a while for Goons, yeah, okay, they can afford to feed, but this isn't one of those things where it's like, it's happening, like, every so often. Like, they didn't lose 3.1 trillion in a month. Like, they did it in a week. And that was in spaceships. And they killed 3 Keepstars. But 3 Keepstars aren't worth even a trillion. Like, but I don't understand that attrition. And yes, Goons can say, like, oh, well, again, we have all this money. But pretty soon it's going to add up. Like, I don't see this going away to where it's like, Goons are going to be able to continue to wallet tank and essentially plex cannon these things down. And when I say plex cannon, I mean that they're basically throwing ships at it. Because if you've been to any of the battles, it basically goes like this: PAPI drops Keepstar, PAPI drops supers, dreads, and a metric gigafuck-ton of subs onto this Keepstar to defend it. Goons see this. Goons begin suiciding in ship after ship into this thing to kill it. And that is how it's gone pretty much. I know it went that way in the second FWST fight, and I know it went that way today. And I'm pretty sure it went that exact same way in the first FWST fight. So, and a lot of people say that, oh, well, PAPI can't force people to, keep doing these super long fights and these super long boring tie-dye fights. that's true, but goons can't keep doing it either. Like, the exact same thing can be said about goons, about you can't make goons constantly show up. Now, granted, goons have this thing where they're fighting for their home, but at the same time, they're essentially doing a bashing op, but instead of just sitting there doing nothing, they're going in, bashing, dying, and then constantly having to reship. And they're doing this through tie-dye. They're warping, doing all this stuff through tie-dye. Whereas people on the PAPI side are jumping in, especially the dread pilots and the carrier pilots, sitting on grid and just killing stuff as it warps in. So the PAPI guys, like, they're getting just kill mail after kill mail. Like, on multiple fleets, FCs and people like have said, yeah, no, this is really, really fun. I can just pad my kill board for 17 hours. Like, everybody loves that. And we've ended up in a situation where throughout these fights, especially the second FWST fight, where people would, like, we would have Sinos in both 8QT and in the system where the current battle is going, and then people could just come and go as they want. Like, it was chill defending at Keepstar and just getting kill after kill. Like, yeah, it was it was this massive battle, but we had a system in place to where if you had to go, no matter what ship you were in, okay, well, I guess if you were in a sub-capital, you really couldn't leave. But no, if you were in a capital and you had to go, you could just jump out. Like, we had people doing that throughout both today's fighting in 319 and not yesterday's, but the second FWST fight. And of course, you had the dread bomb pilots just sitting in station doing absolutely nothing, which, yes, I can personally attest to was pretty boring, but I was doing other things. I was just waiting for the FC to call and say, hey, we're going to drop the hammer, let's do this. Which never happened, which, I mean, it sucks. Like, I personally would love to go and get dropped and kill some goon supers, but, I mean, if it's not going to happen, it's not going to happen. I mean, I still got participation. And one of the things that actually I know Horde's been doing, so for those who aren't in Horde, we have this thing called honks, which is essentially our participation. And how it's tracked is that during a fleet, an FC will honk the fleet, and that'll essentially, it's a very automatic system, but from the line member perspective, the minute the FC is like, hey, you've been honked, okay, you now have credit for the fleet. And what my alliance actually does is that the top people with the most honks will get rewards at the end of the month. So there's very much an incentive to go on these fleets. One of the cool things too is that the system is actually hooked up to your alts. So if you have multiple alts in your dual boxing or multi-boxing, you get more honks. Like today I was multi-boxing with 2 caps and I got double honks just because I had another cap pilot. So yeah, that's how that system works. I was going to explain SRP, but I haven't gotten SRP yet. I haven't really needed it yet for my caps. I should probably get on to the fight. So let me just go here to the second fight. This is going to be the second FWST fight. Now this was the fight I was actually a part of. Spoiler alert, it was more of the same. Now this was the fight that, I believe this was the fight where out of all the Keepstar fights, Goons lost the most in this one. Last I checked, it was like 4.2 trillion? No, not 4.2. That's the Fountain campaign. It was 1.4 trillion. So yeah, a lot of stuff died here. In total, Goons ended up losing 5,200 ships. Holy fuck. That's all I'm gonna say. Actually, I wonder how much stuff was lost. I know there was some ridiculous number of dreads. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No. If you just look at the battle report now, this. By the way, this was the second FWST fight. So what happened in FWST was that. So Goons, well not Goons, PAPI. So PAPI dropped the first Keepstar in FWST. Goons came and Goons killed it. After they left, PAPI dropped a second Keepstar and was able to defend it, and it made it towards its second timer. Then on the second timer, I actually remember watching. This happened while I was at work, but I actually remember watching Trash Talk Tuesday, which is now called the New Eden Report, talking about the fight, or covering the fight. Now, the second fight, I specifically remember them saying that they doubt Goons are going to show up, because this thing was ticking down. It was about to hit its repair timer, its final repair timer to actually get this thing online, and Goons were nowhere in sight. And so they were joking on that stream saying that, like, yeah, no, Goons probably aren't going to show up. I doubt they're going to be here, and yada, yada, yada. And then, right when it was about to start the repair timer, a massive Goon fleet just warped in of just a bunch of battleships and Myrmidons and everything. It was like, oh, okay, that's not that much. Yeah, I think everybody who thought Goons weren't going to show up to the second FWST fight pretty much ate their words, because it turned into a 14-hour slugfest. If someone wants to correct me, I'm probably wrong, but I was there. I remember I was there from when I got off work till I had to go to bed, and I was in a carrier. Probably the most boring carrier fight, especially because I didn't get on any kill mails, because my modules just did not work, like, at all. That was the fight where, like I told you guys earlier in the episode, where I was afraid I wasn't going to be at jump cap, and this was an hour before the fleet ended, because I'm just sitting there thinking, okay, my modules are not activated. I cannot turn off my NSA, which drains cap. I cannot reload my cap rechargers, which gives me cap, and I can't even turn on my cap chargers. I also cannot command my fighters to dock back up or unlock anything, because I had done something stupid. Apparently, when I was trying to move my camera, the server thought that I had hit control, so I ended up having a drag box where I just ended up locking like 8 different things, which completely screwed everything up, like completely and efficiently, to the point where I had 8 random pieces of garbage locked, which means that I couldn't tether to bring my cap back up. So you would think, okay, well, just then just delock them. Well, I tried that multiple times. So here I am. I can't tether up on the Keepstar because for some reason I can't unlock stuff, because that was how bad the servers got, to the point where I couldn't actually unlock things. But thankfully, my modules, after 10 minutes, decided to turn back on, to actually turn on and start responding. So they responding, I got up to jump cap and I jumped out, and that's when I said, never will I ever again jump into a fight like that with a carrier, because that right there was bullshit. But yeah, let's actually look at this fight. So again, teams, Goons or the Imperium lost 1.4 trillion, which, yeah, it's huge. Like, that's a lot. And then Team 2, what a surprise. They lost 185 bill. Now, I say what a surprise because, not because, I'm thinking Goons are bad. It's because literally Goons came in and just said, just shoot the Keepstar. That's all we're doing. We're just going to kill the Keepstar. Does not matter how many ships we lose. And I say that because they lost 5,200. I am not making this up. It is right there. And apparently, see, I don't understand. Okay, damage taken, I do understand that, but I don't really see how that's used. Anyway, so let's see what they lost. Oh, they lost a Minakawa? How'd they lose a Minakawa? Okay. Anyway, so just taking a look at what side each deployed. See, goons used a whole lot of dreads. From what I remember during that fight, the goons were actually... So the whole idea was to try and keep the Keepstar paused as long as possible. Because in tie-dye, if you cannot keep a Keepstar paused, that thing repairs in real time. So in time dilation, Keepstar repair timer does not obey time dilation and actually takes down in real time, which is huge. Which means that you really don't have any time to wait to try to get applying damage on the Keepstar. Like, you need to keep that Keepstar paused indefinitely, because if you let it start ticking down, that could be the end of it. And that could make it to where, this Keepstar is anchoring. And if we actually just looking at it, a lot of the ships that, a very, very large number of these ships that were lost were dreads. So, yep, that is... And I'm just going to keep scrolling down to see how many dreads. I think it was like something like 400 dreads. Yeah, I want to say roughly 400 dreads is how many goons lost, but I could be wrong. Apparently they deployed some carriers. Not very many Moroses, which, I mean, they're high damage output. So here's... Now we're getting to the rogues. Again, more applying damage. It's a lot of rogues. It does look like... So it does look like the PAPI side did lose some dreads that were... So, real quick. So a lot of the dreads that were actually brought in on the PAPI side were long range fit. And their whole thing was to essentially go and kill battleships at long range. Now, the reason why we needed that was because one of the tactics that goons actually employed during the battle was that they were warping at pings all around the Keepstar. And so the idea was that if they could be so scattered around this massive grid and this massive Keepstar, they would basically force us to essentially have to boat over. Because essentially they would be... Essentially, if we were to focus and kill one, the other 5 would be out of range. And so by spreading out, they made it really, really difficult to kill. That's why we brought in the long-range dreads, so that they could sit in one area and just be able to hit anything anywhere on the Keepstar grid. Which, honestly, based off of how much was killed both in FWST, the second fight that I was in, and today, like, long-range dreads have been working really, really well. To the point where I'm actually probably going to buy one. I am a Rev pilot and I love my Rev, but I want to participate in these fights. And the only way I'm going to do that is with a long range Rev. You could say carrier, but I'm not flying another carrier. That's no, we are way past that. Like, only fool me once with jumping into a tie-dye fight, shame on you. Fool me twice, I deserved it. Like, I'm not making that mistake again. So one thing that's actually interesting that I'm seeing, just looking at this battle report, look at how many Myrmidons are on this. One of the things that goons also did to try and pause this Keepstar was they brought in ratting chips. Whether or not that was a good tactic, I mean, it was obviously a good tactic. It worked, but we're also talking about the fact that they lost 1.4 trillion in total, which, say what you want, 1.4 trillion is still 1.4 trillion. I don't care if you supposedly made 15 trillion. And if you're wondering, hey, where to get the 15 trillion number, I got it from a goon saying in local to me, we don't care about the fact that we lost 2.4. By the way, it's 2.4 trillion for the total FWST fights. We don't care that we lost 4.2 trillion. We used to make 15 trillion a month. Okay, that's cool. But but you're not making nearly that much now, especially with the fact that you're like being blockaded. And to my knowledge, PAPI's still out there making ISK. So, I mean, I'm not an economics guy, but if one side's not really making ISK and the other side's making a fuck ton of ISK, and one side, and the side that's not making a lot of ISK is feeding, like, at this scale, and the other side isn't, I feel like that can only end one way. Like, there was a famous, well, not a famous, but there was something that Caleb Aria said, who is a big economics guy. You can watch him on Talking in Stations. He believed that, okay, yes, goons did build up the wealth for years, though, but at the same time, and I'm responding to someone in chat, which I should probably get the chat thing actually working. Where can I... Okay. I need to put up the chat box. But yeah. Yeah, goons have been building up the wealth throughout the years, Jiffy. But they can't keep doing this. Like, they can't keep feeding trillions, literally trillions of this to kill Keepstars. Like, eventually, they're going to run out of wealth. And granted, you might say, oh, well, that'll be, in months from now. Well, so far it's been 3 months. Neither side has shown any intention of giving up. I doubt this is going to be one of those things where goons are going to have enough money, especially if they keep feeding like they do. I don't think that goons are going to have enough money to sustain this kind of attrition, essentially. Because, again, we've already seen it to where a lot of the alliances that are actually attacking goons, they're committed. Like, they're willing to lose their space to finish the job. So I don't know if they're willing to lose their space and they're able to get on hundreds, literally thousands of kill mails each time we do this. Yeah, I don't see I don't see the PAPI forces giving up anytime soon. I can definitely see them sustaining this well beyond January. Which actually brings me to the point that I quickly want to say. The idea that we're going to be attacking 1DQ1 by February. Yeah, I don't think that's going to be. I don't think that's going to be a thing. Yeah, there's no way this war is going to be over by February. If anything, like I personally think this war is going to be fighting well into next year. Because, like, a lot of test leadership likes to tout, they fought a war for 8 months. Well, it's only been 3. Granted, there's still another 3 months left in the year. But especially because there are these two giants that really don't want. So the grid show, I don't see Test Blues pulling out anytime soon, especially because, again, the kill mails have been plentiful, and a lot of guys that I know on the PanFam side, like, they're loving this. They want this war to go on so that they can keep killing goons, as well as I think it was NC Dot. Yeah, it was NC Dot who basically said, yeah, no, we'll lose our space to get this done. Like, we're essentially not going to stop until it's done. So SRP, well, that actually brings back to the my previous point of Panda Fam's still making money, and Test is still making money, which means that the SRP is not gonna stop. Like, it's one of those things where it's like, we have plenty of money for SRP because, again, we're still making money, we're still ratting, we're still mining in huge numbers. I'm gonna say, okay, please, Scarlet. Okay, yeah, but a lot of people don't rely on renters for their income. The amount of money that gets made from other sources that aren't renters is astounding, because you've got the personal member income, which is taxed. You have, what is it? You've got Tranquility Trading Towers, which Panda Fam makes money off of, and Tappy makes money off of. And yeah, you've got massive money sources. Whereas Goons, they're going into the reserves because, again, they can't rat, they can't mine, they can't do anything. Like, what I'm saying is NC Doc will run away the first sign of real trouble and leave their allies. Well, I mean, what's more real than wanting to lose their space? I guess they've literally said they're willing to lose their space. And we've dropped our dreads many, many times. Look at the monthly report, my guy. Like, you can see that Delve is nowhere near, like, where it used to be. Okay, yeah, there might be some mining and ratting going on because, yeah, I've killed a lot of you. I've killed quite a few goon miners and ratters, which, thanks for those kills. Okay, yes, it doesn't need to be under your main accounts, but still, like, pretty soon, first off, NC's not going to back down. They've made it abundantly clear that they're not going to leave, that they want to get this done. Horde has made it abundantly clear that they want to get this done. Like, this isn't one of those things where it's like, yeah, no, Goons are going, like, NC, PL, and all those guys are going to leave. Like, that's, with the amount of success they've been seeing, and with the amount of kills that a lot of members have been getting, like, we don't want this to stop. Like, there's the very idea that we're going to turn around and run there's literally no basis in it, because here we are, we've been putting our supers on grid and Delve, waiting for Goons to come, but they don't. Like, what the only other thing that I could see that would really cause danger and make us decide to turn around and leave is that if we lose literally all of our space. But we've already said we're willing to lose all of our space. So, and Horde being the really only threat, well, it's not just Horde, it's Horde and the rest of the galaxy. I'm not going to name off all the other alliances because, quite frankly, that's just too many, and yeah, I don't really want to go into that. But yeah, as it stands right now, if Goons keep feeding at this rate that they're going, it's not going to end well. Like, it's not, they can't keep feeding like this and expect to win. Like, I don't see, like, yeah, okay, they stopped at Keepstar, but at what cost? Like, there's, at this point, at a certain point, they're gonna run out of money, and they're gonna run out of ships. Like, unless they literally have more ships. Oh, actually, I don't know where I was going with that point. Anyway, yeah, I don't see it. I don't see, because if you continue to feed, people are just gonna keep coming, and people are still gonna keep killing. Let's see here. People don't have over 50 or 1,000 Titans, which you guys. Okay. So you guys keep, one of the things that you guys keep saying is that, oh, we don't have 1,000 Titans. Okay, we don't have 1,000 Titans. What? Like, you see, this is, you might not care about ISK, but the fact is it's going to matter if you guys keep feeding. Like, I don't know how I can be more clear about this. If you guys might not care about ISK, but it doesn't matter when there's none left. Like, the amount that Goons are feeding right now is unsustainable. Like, I don't know what other way to put it. Anyway, I'm going to move on to the other battle report, because yeah, no, this paints a very interesting picture. Right? Like, okay, yeah, they killed the Keepstar. But they lost trillions. And it's not the first time that it's happened. Also, OKX, I saw you tried to, what was it? I saw you tried to come in. If you want to just jump in public chat, go ahead. I'll actually drag you down this time. Alright, what was it? Oh, I should probably do the... I can actually do Monday's fight. Let's see here. Let's put that on. This is going to turn into trench warfare. There's going to come out with who's willing to log in and babysit structure. So, Alex, that is something that I totally 100% agree with. This is definitely going to talk. If I keep talking about ISK, then you guys seem worried. Goons are excited to have no issue with it. Well, I keep talking about ISK because you would need ISK to fund the war. Like, how does me talking about ISK mean that I'm worried? Like, what, huh? Anyway, but yeah, to Alex's point, yeah, no, this is definitely going to be trench warfare. I definitely see that happening. Depending on who's willing to log in and babysit. I can tell you that I'm more that if logging in and babysitting means that literally thousands of ships are going to be thrown at me just to be thrown into a wood chipper, I'm okay with it. Every test show talks about ISK and worried ISK for goons. Yes, because ISK isn't infinite. That's why people talk about ISK, because it is a resource that you need to fight wars. Like, surprisingly enough. Like, it doesn't matter if you don't care about, oh, well, we fed 2 trill here, we fed, 1 trillion here. Eventually, it all adds up. Like, we've seen goons literally feed trillions in not, like, this isn't one of those things where it happened in, like, a month or two. No, this happened in a week. 3 trillion in a week. Like, I don't think goons can do that every single week. And then, yeah, okay, Alex, that's actually a really good point. Like, eventually, you're going to run out of ships, okay? Because unless you're literally making thousands of ships a day, which realistically, I'm not going to say you can't do it, because I've seen people make a ridiculous amount of ships. But eventually, this stuff isn't limitless, okay? Like, you can say your stockpiles are crazy, but they're not limitless. Alright? And if goons keep feeding at this rate, that's gonna run out. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I don't know what else to say. Like, there's a finite number that you have in your stockpiles. If you keep losing ships from that stockpile, you will eventually run out. Saying that, oh, well, we have so much, we don't care. That doesn't defeat, that literally does nothing to answer the point of, yes, but you have a finite number. If you keep using said finite number, so you think Jita... Okay, first off, we have seen many, many times in past fights where Jita NMR has run out of ships. That has happened. That has happened before. So yes, all right. My prediction is that this war months will fizzle out. I mean, it could very well fizzle out. People could probably just get bored. Also, why the fuck isn't this battle report tool working? Okay, well, that battle report's barked. So that's fun. We've got about 10 minutes left in the show. I'm actually super sad that I couldn't make it to where the chat wasn't scrolling. Actually, no, let me see if I can fix that right now. Oh, well, thanks for the compliment, man. Glad to have you here. Actually, I'm glad that someone's actually talking at all. And when they get bored, it depends on who gets bored. Alex, that's 100% right. It will. That definitely will happen. And honestly, like, it. If PAPI gets bored first, yeah, they'll lose. And if PAPI has more of, keeps losing or another. Holy shit, that scared the hell out of me. Hey, Jiffy, thanks for the follow. But yeah, if. So I actually didn't talk about this fight because I kind of forgot about it, and I don't have a battle report for it. Essentially, we came in and we were battling on the SVM gate, I believe, and essentially what had happened was we came in, there was a massive goon gate camp, which, by the way, like, that's the fact that they, like, personally, I thought that the Imperium wouldn't be able to keep up that gate camp. But no, they've kept that gate camped. They've kept that gate hell camped, and that in itself, the fact that they've literally been able to keep a 24/7 hell camp on that gate, I'm sorry, but that's pretty impressive. Like, that shows commitment, and that's why I think that's one of the many reasons why I think that goons aren't going to give up easily. Like, when I say that the Delve theater of this war is going to be a slugfest, it is going to be a slugfest, because I do not see either side giving up. I don't see either side saying, you know what, we no longer want to log in, we no longer want to fight, which is why I still think that this is going to come down to, like, everyone's resources at the end of this war are going to be completely out. Like, nobody's going to have anything at the end of this war, and it's going to be great. Where was I going with that? Okay. Let's respond to chat. I have a show and I do talk to other shows. I'm never interested in I'm never insulting to anyone on a personal level because I don't want to turn back on me. But I do like that you allow people to have comments from all sides of the war, because some of the other channels do not. I'm not going to name anybody's name though. Okay. Yeah. So on that, honestly, with the whole, like, allowing other people to talk on my channel, I like it when people give opposing viewpoints, not because I like to be all inclusive. It's because that it just gives me more stuff to talk about and more stuff to respond to, so that I can fill the time slot. Like, people interacting and chat interacting with me gives me stuff to respond to, which allows me to inflate the length of the show, because, let's be real, sometimes not a lot of shit happens in EVE, and I can only talk for so long about one thing. Like, it's a fucking miracle that I've been able to fill 50 minutes with 2 battles. Like, actually. Let's see, I will tell you this. The morale on Goons is high, and like I said, one of my friends just bought a 4th Titan, so he would have one of every race, and he logs in all 4 plus his other accounts at one time and hoping to find time to use them. Holy crap, 4 accounts. Like, that right there is EVE commitment. Me personally, I'm working towards a Titan now because, like, I want my corp to have one so that, well, one, so that I don't have to drop a carrier into these fights, because if you were watching the show previously, I will no longer use a carrier in these tie-dye fights. I just won't do it. I will do a lot of things for a fight. Doing tie-dye in a carrier is not one of them, which is a shame, because carriers is like the de facto defense strategy for these Keepstars. But yeah, using fighters in tie-dye is just the worst gaming experience on the face of the planet. And I say that with confidence. I want to say I've played another game that people think is way worse than EVE, but nothing comes to mind. So yeah, what else? I'm just going to read chat from now on. This is way easier than actually having to come up with content. I'll tell you the morale. Wait, I already read that. Okay. But yeah, the morale on Goons. I'm actually, the morale being high for Goons, actually, I 100% can believe that, especially after want to say yesterday on the SVM gate. That was the battle I was going to talk about, but then I got sidetracked, which happens a lot. So yeah, basically what happened was that we came in, there's a goon gate camp, like there always is, and we started fighting. The FC was like, hey, we need you to, boat out of the bubbles, and then we're going to warp. So we warped, we fought a little bit, we killed we killed a goon fax. And so we're like, alright, we killed the goon fax. I don't know if we got the objective. I'm pretty sure we fucked up the objective. But then the FC said, okay, everyone burn out of the bubbles, align to this gate. So we aligned back to the 8QT gate, and the FC said warp. The FC ended up warping us right into a goon gate camp, which I thought, okay, well, we're going to go through this goon gate camp and we're going to fight. Well, that didn't happen because right when the fleet landed, we were immediately told to basically scatter and try to get out. That, of course, caused a whole lot of confusion, and so goons just ended up just wiping that wiping the Horde Ferox fleet I was in. Thankfully, I was not in the initial wave that landed because I actually didn't have enough capacitor to make the entire warp. And so, my dumbass, before the FC said, okay, everyone get to a safe, I reinitiated warp. Now, this was after they were cleaning up the rest of the goon, not the rest of the Horde Feroxes. So I landed in a bubble with a metric gigafuck ton of goon battleships looking at me, and I did not have that ship for very much longer. I'm still waiting on SRP for it. And yeah, that was a pretty bad feed. Let me see if I can actually pull up the battle report. Yeah, the battle yesterday definitely was definitely an Imperium victory. So let's see if I can pull it up. So Riker, let me get my main character. Okay, here it is. Go to related. Battle report generating. Come on. Let's see here. Eva's the best and worst game in history. I couldn't agree more. Let's see here. Now I just want to check to see if... For some reason, a lot of these battle reports, they keep putting initiative mercenaries on our side, but it doesn't look like they did that here. Okay. So let's see here. So Imperium lost... I never said, though, that my SRP was fast. Yeah. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I should get SRP. Actually, wait. Did I ever file for it? I don't know. Either way. Yeah, the SRP is pretty slow. Like if you want to do the library. Oh no, I legitimately have no idea. I really have no idea. I don't even know if that fleet was actually SRP'd, because like some fleets, you just don't get SRP for. I think it's only for like certain strategic ops, and that might not have been a strategic op. That might have been just like, hey, we're forming up to go and do something, or some I don't really know, or maybe like it's so weird. So like Horde's system can be kind of fucky at some points, because like I know people get SRP because people I've known do get SRP. It's just sometimes it just doesn't work because the entire system is automatic and whatnot, which has its ups and downs. Like on the one point, you get your SRP almost instantly. But on the other point, if you have someone actually handling the SRP, you can actually go and talk to them and do this whole thing, and for me, it's more reliable. Pin the speed is really quick. Oh yeah, no. So that is one thing that I will give to you on a personal level. Like the one thing that I do know about the Imperium is that on a personal level, like whenever an Imperium member loses a ship, they just straight up make money. So yeah, on a personal level, I fucking bet the Imperium members are just loving this, because I know I think it was when they, I think it was the Dread, yeah, the Dread fight that happened a while back. I think it was in G Magic. A bunch of goons lost a metric fuck ton of dreads, and they were like, I wish I could have been on that fleet on the goon side, because I would have made money, because they get, from what I know, and you can correct me if I'm wrong on this, goons get both the ship insurance and then they get SRP, which ends up making money, which I don't think I have that. I think it's just a replacement ship. From what I know, my SRP just replaces the ship, and then it's like, okay, you know, here's the ship with, if you're getting, let's see here, if you insured your ship and then you get insurance, it should be enough to replace the ship. You don't actually make money, which is one of the reasons why, okay, yes, Imperium members are more likely to fight. Like, that's, I'm not trying to say, like, you know, actually, no, that's exactly what I'm trying to say. Like, goons have more reason to fight and die and lose ships because they make money. Whereas PAPI, I mean, we just get a free ship. Like, yeah, no, the incentive, from what I know, and this might actually give them the edge in the war. I don't really know, because, again, the war is still, like, in its infancy. Like, the fact that goons have such good incentive programs might actually turn the tide of the war. Well, I don't know about making money, but yes, you can insure. Yeah, no, it might just be for dreads too. I have no idea how the Imperium systems work. I just know from listening to Brisker Ball that people make money whenever they lose ships. And I know that whenever I lose ships, I don't make money. I'm able to replace it. Okay, so yeah, so this was the fight. So yeah, this was the fight yesterday that I was in, and this, mistakes were made on the PAPI side. Like, oh my god, I'm not even surprised we lost Dread. There was a Thunderchild? Ooh. Oh, at least it didn't die. But yeah, this right here, this was a fight that we definitely didn't. PAPI did not come out on this one. It's like, we tried. There was an attempt. That attempt was not successful. Yeah, the SRP for everything is pretty good, and to be honest, is one of the reasons why I put my capitals on Super Field, because I know the return in my pocket will be close enough. You see, so this totally has nothing to do with the war. But yesterday in Corp Chat, I had me and my Corp mates had a very interesting conversation about why SRP is important. And essentially one of my Corp mates said that he doesn't like SRP because he thinks it's communism, and he hates communism. He would rather not be taxed and not have to pay for stuff. And so it was just like, oh, what? But we need SRP. And he's like, yeah, but we don't need SRP. Exactly. The better the SRP, the better the participation. And like that, my entire point to this person was SRP is an incentive program to incentivize PvPers to do certain things. Because, like, I'm a PvPer. I don't like mining. In fact, I hate mining. I only did it for so long because Rorks were super fucking unbalanced and made a metric fuck ton of money. But anyway, he's a miner, and from where he's coming from this is that, so current taxes are, what was it? 20% tax. So 10% tax goes to the corp, and then the other 10% is used to pay the people. Is used to pay the people who run this big program. It's funny because 4% of that tax actually goes to the person who is angry about taxes. Like, he's the person who's like, there shouldn't be any taxes because I don't want a fifth of my income being taken from me. But of that fifth, this person makes... Wait. Yeah, no, that person's cut that they get, like, they get a cut of those taxes because they help to actually run the program. So, part of those taxes that are being taxed from his mining, he's getting back. Yes, this is how the conversation went, but he still wanted... His whole thing was, well, yeah, but I still don't want to be taxed. Well, but you're saying that you don't want to be taxed because you would make more money if you weren't taxed. But the taxes, the mining taxes, go to pay you to run the program. So, it's about here that my brain stopped working. Anyway, that then divulged into this whole conversation of why incentivizing people is important. Because he said, okay, well, we shouldn't have to incentivize people. Got it. All right. Have a good one, Alex. And thanks for the follow. Anyway, I should probably wrap this show up because it's getting really long. But I'll end it with this. What was I going to end it with? I'll end it with this story. So, the argument then divulged into, okay, well, if as a PvPer, I'm incentivized by the fact that I know that I'm going to get paid if I lose my ship. Alright, if you take that away from me, what incentive do I have to come and defend your shit? Like, what? Why? Like, if the stuff that I'm defending does not benefit me in any way whatsoever, why should I help you? Like, if I'm not being paid, and if I lose my ship, then I'm SOL. And the response was, well, if you mined, then you would make enough money to be able to afford those losses. Yeah, but we don't mine. Like, this literally does not... If we lost these things, like, if everything we had set up suddenly is destroyed, it would not affect most of the PvPers in the Corp, because they don't do that anyway. So, they literally have no reason to defend this stuff, other than, hey guys, it's SRP'd. And his response was, well then maybe we should mandate it. Like, mandate an actual fleet. Well, what if people just don't come? What if they just say, oh yeah, I have to take the dog out? Which, by the way, I'm going to say thank you to Alex for giving me that, because I literally just ripped that from him. The having to take the dog out. And his response was, well then they should get kicked from Corp. Okay, so you're saying you don't like a tyrannical corporation and you think that taxes are tyrannical, but you are mandating people and forcing people to go and fight to defend your stuff in a video game. They could just leave the Corp. It's like, yeah, well, that doesn't happen. It was at this point that my brain really stopped working. And that situation, it was one of those things where that conversation couldn't devolve any more than it already has. To the point where we just kind of stopped talking, and just said, listen, dude, you're wrong. It was a very, I want to say it was an interesting conversation, but it wasn't. I just felt my brain cells dying the more I engaged with it. So yeah, that about pretty much wraps up this show this week. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for stopping by. God, I can't fucking... English is difficult, apparently. So yeah, that pretty much wraps up this week's episode. War's been fun. I'm hoping that we get more fights. More like the SV5 fight, or the SMV fight. Was it an SMV? Yeah, SMV. I'm hoping we get more fights like this, because even though my side got its ass kicked, this fight was way more enjoyable than the Keepstar fight, especially if especially being in a carrier. But yeah, thank you guys for coming in. I'm glad that, well, yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. You can also catch this episode on our YouTube channel, which is at Between Two Keepstars, which is linked below, or I think it's, it's Between Two Keepstars. That's the name of the YouTube channel. That link is probably somewhere below. If it's not, well, I'll link it. I'll figure something out. Thank you to our 2 new followers. I'll see you guys next week.